Hey guys, John here from Bring the SEO. Today's short presentation, I've actually titled this one, Why You Should Stop Selling SEO Packages. Now this is going to be an interesting one and I'm sure I'm going to upset a few people as I work my way through this presentation, but hear me out. Stick with me to the end because I make some interesting points which I think are worth mentioning. Okay, so let's take a look firstly at why many agencies sell SEO packages. Now, I want to just preface this by saying I'm talking about low cost or affordable SEO, the stuff that's down into the, let's say 300, 500, 600 bucks a month range, maybe up to 900 or $1,000 a month. We see this stuff all around the place. And I think for most agencies, selling affordable, and let's face it, we know this to be true, selling affordable SEO is easy. There's much less resistance around cost. It's certainly a lot easier to sell, a $300 a month SEO package as opposed to, let's say, $3,500 a month. So it simplifies that sales process. And this is what's certainly attractive to a lot of agencies because they want to just make that sales process and onboarding new clients as easy as possible. The next point I've got here is fulfillment can be outsourced overseas at virtually no cost. Now, let's face it, when the margins are so small, especially if you're selling a $500 a month package, then you really have no choice but to outsource that labor overseas at $5 an hour. And this is often possible simply because there's really no level of sophistication around the service delivery. You're talking 5 links, 2 articles, 10 keywords, it's all churn and burn nonsense. So the skill sets required in order to fulfill that service delivery is fairly low. Now, lastly, and this kind of touches on my previous point, it's easy to churn it out, right? It's easy to churn it out. The same thing month after month. And again, this is, typically, maybe 10 keywords, 3 articles, 5 backlinks or whatever that might be. And that's fairly common in terms of what happens month after month. Now, the biggest problem I have with SEO packages is that it's more beneficial for the agency than it is the client. In other words, the service delivery is simplified to the point where it's almost pointless, really, let's face it. So it's easy to provide that service offering. It simplifies the processes and systems and the staffing structure and everything else. It's much more, that's easy for the client. It's much more beneficial for the agency than it is the client because the client's getting the wrong end of the stick. And, that essentially means that they're paying for a service that is pretty much pointless. Let's now take a look at a few of the problems that are associated with SEO packages. Obviously, there's more than this. I can't list them all, but these are probably some of the main ones that came to mind as I was putting this presentation together. Firstly, the quality of work is usually rubbish due to such low margins. And, this comes as no surprise. If you're selling $300 a month SEO, then that quality of work is going to be garbage, and that's probably due to the fact that it's being outsourced to India or Pakistan. My next point here is any sense of accountability or outcome becomes irrelevant. And again, at such low margins, there's really no need or incentive for the agency or the service provider to care. And certainly at $300 a month or $500 a month, they're not going to care too much about your business goals and objectives. The client's business goals and objectives. The next point is they're often sold with completely unrealistic expectations. And this is where you get into a situation where, it's $500 a month. You have some sales person on a call and they're making all sorts of wonderful promises to the prospect. And it might be along the lines of, okay, we can rank you for 10 keywords within 3 months or 50% of your keywords. It's all cupcakes and candy canes until the client has been paying for this service for 12 months and they realize there's really nothing coming out of it. And lastly, business owners who buy into them don't understand anything about SEO. And I know this to be true because I've spoken with a lot of them. And these are typically business owners who have that throwaway mentality. Look, it's only $300 a month. I'll just throw this money at this thing and see what happens. The biggest problem, however, when it comes to SEO packages is that it becomes more about deliverables, not outcomes. And this revisits the point I made just a moment ago. The agency separates themselves from any sense of responsibility around business goals and objectives, certainly accountability and outcomes, and all they care about is ensuring that they fulfill that service delivery month after month. Now, if we think about the whole purpose of SEO, right, this is why we do SEO in the first place. It should be about helping the client attract customers, generating sales, and increasing revenue. And we can do that, of course, by increasing visibility within the search engines, increasing organic search traffic, improving conversion rates, and focusing on increasing the bottom line. However, with SEO packages, none of that applies. And it's all about, this month, 3 articles, 5 backlinks, 10 keywords, month after month. Now, here's a package that I found on, I can't remember what site this was, but I found this package online, and this is fairly typical of what you'll see on a lot of agency websites. This is a service offering for SEO. The packages, of course, bronze, silver, and gold. And I don't know why it's always bronze, silver, and gold, but that seems to be the trend. And as you can see, these are really low price points. And of course, the service delivery consists of fixed deliverables, 50 keywords, 10 pages, 30 backlinks, 1 blog post. But in any case, there's no mention here about increasing sales, generating additional revenue. There's none of that. There's no indication at all about achieving any sort of business goals and objectives. It's all about fixed deliverables. Now, if we think about how that translates into a typical SEO campaign, it might look something like this. Month 1, do this. Month 2, do the same thing again. Month 3, and again, and again, and again, and again. And if we take that and apply it to a typical SEO campaign, and this time we'll show the growth chart, as you can see, that timeline reflects perhaps you might get a little blip at the beginning, but then from then on, when you're just regurgitating and spewing out this same nonsense month after month with no sense of outcome, then you're going to find yourself in this situation where, again, you might get a little bit of an uptick, but then it just sort of flatlines and you end up in a situation where you're just, serving up fixed deliverables month after month with no sense of purpose. The problem, of course, with this is that SEO campaigns are not linear. Let's take a look at what an SEO campaign looks like. For most SEO campaigns, that is. Now, I could have broken this down. Instead of showing months, I could have shown stages or phases, because for most SEO campaigns, we go through phases, the learning phase, the build, implementation, and refinement, and so on. But for this demonstration, at least, I've got here month 1, learn and research. And this is where we spent the time with the client to understand their business goals and objectives, their positioning within the marketplace, who their competitors are, their price points. We performed a gap analysis. We've done all of that. Research in order to build out a strategy. And then, of course, once we've done that, we move through, it might be month 2, could be month 3, whatever that might be. But this is where we perform on page, and this might be where we, reverse engineer competitors, map out site structure, perform on page, meta titles, whatever that might consist of. Then, of course, we go through the content creation phase, publishing product or service related pages, location pages. And then, of course, citations and off-page link building. And then, as we move our way through, we review what we've done, assess, and adjust and improve. And this is fairly typical, as I said, for most SEO campaigns. Now, again, if we apply that within a traditional SEO campaign, one in which the tasks that are being performed each month are changing in line in the pursuit of achieving that particular goal or outcome for the business owner, it looks something like this. Of course, you can see the immediate difference is that we're performing certain tasks with intent, with purpose, for a reason, in order to drive this growth line upwards. And that should, of course, mean generating sales, getting customers, generating sales and increasing the bottom line. Okay, so what should we do? I'm going to share a couple of pointers with you in terms of what you can do to get rid of these SEO packages to start with, and then how you can move forward and provide a higher quality of service. So number one, stop selling shitty SEO packages. What I would recommend is you get rid of SEO packages completely. And from there, simplify your service offering and bring everything back to one thing. Okay, 2, focus on outcomes, not just deliverables. Here, I'd strongly recommend that you implement meaningful campaigns that help clients achieve their objectives. That should be the whole point. So in order to do this, I would recommend, and you watched my other videos where I make the same recommendations, niche down and be selective about who you work with and charge a premium. And lastly, provide revenue-focused SEO instead of chasing vanity metrics. I've got another video here on my channel that you can watch where I talk about revenue-focused SEO and how it works. But that will be an absolute game changer in terms of being able to escape this low-cost SEO madness. Now, point 3, charge an hourly rate. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, this is going to upset a few people. I want you to stick with me here before you get too upset and start throwing eggs. Firstly, charge an hourly rate, but cap the number of hours per month. So for example's sake, let's say you decide to charge $165 an hour, right? For a maximum of 15 hours per month. That equates to $24.75, but you round it off. It doesn't make it sounds weird. You know, tell a client you're charging $24.75. So round it off to $2,500 a month. So I'm going to repeat this. $165 an hour for a maximum of 15 hours a month or $2,500 a month. I won't get into the details around charging, how to charge hourly. I might do that in a separate video, but this works, and it works incredibly well. You're essentially working at an hourly rate, but you're presenting it as a monthly retainer. In any case, I think the simple message is this: regardless of what you choose to do, invest time towards improving your service offering. Again, if you're running around the internet selling, low-cost SEO packages, $300, $500, $600 a month, it's going to be an absolute struggle. It's not going to be enjoyable. You're going to be attracting horrible clients that have, plenty of time and no money. And, long-term, it just doesn't work. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of agency owners try this, and all it does is create an enormous amount of noise. Because, of course, in order to generate any sort of meaningful income, you've got to have a lot of clients, and that's just not worth doing. Hey, if you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to learn more, head over to bringtheseo.com. We provide business development training for SEO consultants wanting to improve their processes, increase profits, and scale to $100,000 a month or more without all the stress and overwhelm.